Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Josh Hardy. I'm the Executive Director of Concord TV, and we really enjoy doing this program. Normally we do it in person here in the studio, but even over Zoom, we like programs like this because we get to talk to groups that make a difference in our community and get updates on what's happening in Concord. So with that in mind, I'd like to welcome our guests from Intown Concord. We have Jessica Martin, and we have Haley Stoddard and Jamie Simchek. Thank you guys for joining us. And Jessica, welcome. You are the new Executive Director of Intown Concord. So welcome. And maybe we lead off with that maybe tell us about your experience so far. And I know these are very strange times for sure, but just kind of your overall impressions so far.
Thanks, Josh. I'm really excited to be here. So I started on December 7th. So I had a few weeks under my belt before the holidays, and now, we're really hitting the ground running this year. We're excited because it's looking promising for our events this year with the vaccine and all of that coming, pretty excited. So we're looking at our first event of the year coming up at the end of January, which will be Winterfest. And then our board meets this week, and we're going to be discussing Market Days, which is our, as pretty much everyone should know, is our big signature event. So we're looking at possibly moving that later into the season, just to allow people a little more time and comfort with, being in larger groups again. So that's kind of a overview of, the year, but I've really been enjoying getting out there and meeting all the downtown businesses safely with a mask, but just really impressed with, everyone and how serious they're taking this, and how, you walk through the doors and they have hand sanitizer, and, everybody downtown has just been great through this whole thing, and working together and collaborating on ways to, get people out and about safely, which has been great.
Right. I was really encouraged when I was doing my holiday shopping. Like, I'd stopped by the Concord Handmade and had kind of gone around to a couple of the local businesses, and it looked busy. It was great. So that was encouraging. Yeah.
They all said, we went out, Haley and I went out several times before the holidays, and they were all just raving about how busy it had been. So that was really nice to see that people recognize that buying local, supporting these local businesses, especially during this time, how important that is, which is just really, really great.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have that one giant snowstorm, like the storm of the century, that had downtown. I'd never seen it look like that before, but I don't think we've had much snow since then, actually. It's been weird.
No, yeah, and that did make parking challenging, but we, support the businesses by trying to let people know where they can park and where they can, the different parking garages and the free parking spots. So that's what, we really pushed that out there.
Absolutely. And so we're getting to that time of year where Concord TV the last couple years has recorded footage of the Winterfest that goes on. I think we have video footage that I'm going to drop into the video here of some of the ice sculptures, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm wondering, either Jessica or Haley or Jamie, whoever wants to take this, to tell us a little bit about what Winterfest is, how it might be different this year with COVID protocols, and just just tell us a little bit more about it.
Okay, I'm going to let Haley and Jamie take this one since they have a history with the event.
Sure. So this year will be our third annual Winterfest. It's primarily a ice carving demonstration and ice carving competition. This year will look a little bit different than it has in previous years because of, obvious COVID. So this year we'll be doing a pre-registration and some sort of COVID screening prior to attendees coming to the event. Possibly thinking about having the event moved further down Main Street to the State House lawn, maybe having some sort of ice sculpture park type of idea. So that way it's more spread out. It's not in a general, it's not tight within the confines of our closed Main Street like it usually is. So with that said, we won't be closing down Main Street like we typically do. Other possibilities would be having the demonstration cars at the State House lawn, and then having the competition where it traditionally has been in front of the Hotel Concord. So we're still trying to work out those kinks and those details, but we're excited about it, and we're happy to be able to be doing an event this year, or our first event in a bit. So we're excited.
Great. I know from, I didn't get to go last year. We sent one of our staff producers, but just seeing the sculptures, they look amazing. They look incredible. I do plan on heading down, and we are planning on covering it this year, just to let you guys know too. So, but I'm just curious, Jamie, do you have more kind of background, sort of the type of artists who show up to create these sculptures? What goes into that? Sort of what type of artistry we're talking about for something like this?
Yeah, no. First of all, I want to say it's great we get to work with Haley again on this, because this is one of the first times we've got some institutional knowledge doing this for a third year. And then I think I can speak on behalf of the board, and we're super excited to have Jess with us now. And but it seems like every year we do this Winterfest, it's always like we spring it on the new members of the Intown Concord team. So everyone's a quick learner, so that's great. But we are very excited. We actually have 5 carvers participating this year, and potentially a 6th, which is more than we've had in the past, which I think sort of, as Haley alluded to, has led to our discussions about where to actually have this, because we sort of have limitations between sidewalk space and where there are power outlets to do it. But one thing that was made very clear when we were doing sort of preliminary discussions with Intown Concord, in the city, and other stakeholders who were very supportive of it, was sort of twofold. One, can we do this safely? And I think an event like this can be done safely, which is why we've obviously proceeded with it. But also, what can we do to help downtown businesses, Concord area businesses? And I think, trying to do that thoughtfully as where we have the carvings happening versus, where the businesses are and how we can get them aware. I think we're still working through that, but that's very important to us for sure. So in the past, we've had metal workers, we've had woodworkers, we've had, basically culinary experts who have done ice carving. This year, it's looking like we're going to get some more professional carvers involved, because, they're all professional carvers, but, carvers that have gone to other competitions because other competitions have decided not to host it this year. And those were larger competitions, so I think we benefit from kind of our smaller size. And so we're hoping on that Friday afternoon, we've been thankful to get a few sponsors and more coming in, I think. So we're gonna, be able to do some demonstration carves. And then on the Saturday morning, we got to find place for 5 to 6 carvers to, to compete. And I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's, again, just looking back at some of the footage from the last couple, because I think we definitely did last year, and I think we did the year before as well. So just like you said, Jamie, it brings people downtown, and you hope that when they come to see the sculptures that they will get lunch somewhere, that they'll go through the shops, and that whole kind of help the downtown community thrive. So yeah, so we're putting footage up of that. Haley, could you remind us what weekend that's happening, or what, because it's a Friday into a Saturday. Could you just remind our audience again when exactly that's happening?
Sure. So Winterfest is scheduled to take place January 29th and the 30th. Events will be scheduled to start around 3 o'clock on Friday and around 11 a.m. on that Saturday.
Awesome. Yeah, and so Concord TV will be there at least for Saturday, maybe part of Friday as well. But it's always better to see it in person. And wear a mask and stay socially distant from people, but we will be posting video footage of that on YouTube. I think the best part of that is we have all of this Intown Concord video footage from throughout the years, since I've been around since 2013, 2014. So if you guys were ever curious seeing what things looked like back, back then, before the Main Street renovations and everything like that, we have some nice historical content of that. So so we have Winterfest to look forward to, and market days. I forget who would, Jessica, if you had mentioned, or someone had, about the idea of moving market days later in the summer potentially. Not that anything's set in stone, obviously. It's
Yeah.
still early on. Maybe just
Yeah.
share a little more. Obviously, things are subject to change if we learned any
Sure.
lessons from 2020. So.
That's true. And just before we switch gears to market days, I just want to thank our sponsors. Jamie touched on it, but we do have some great sponsors for Winterfest already. One of them is Delta Dental and Hannaford. Those are our two icicle sponsors. And we also have the Concord Food Co-op right now. So if any other businesses are watching and they're interested in sponsoring, they can email us or email Haley at events@intownconcord.org. So just wanted to mention that before we moved on. But yeah,
We also have Lovering Auto Group as a sponsor as well.
that's right. Lovering Auto Group. Thank you for adding that. So market days. So this has been something I've been kind of talking to informally with different businesses as I meet people and, talk about market days and get some historic information about, how the event has gone in the past and, why the date is the date that it is. And everyone that I've talked to, businesses included, have been really open and understanding of the idea of maybe moving it later in the year, vaccine rollout, people's comfort level with being in large groups, and then, having perhaps May, June, July. My thought would be August would be the month to kind of get themselves on board with how that feels. So that's the thought process around that. So we'll see. The board is going to talk about it on Thursday, and then we hope to be able to roll out some actual dates here within the next couple of weeks.
Great. It's so tough because we all have to learn to be flexible and adaptive, and things can change at any given notice. So, definitely we'll have you guys back on at some point as we get closer. Where can people go to get up-to-date information as these events kind of evolve and are planned throughout 2021?
So our website is always the best place. It's intownconcord.org. But also Haley does a fantastic job with our Facebook. We always have very up-to-date information there too. So if you don't like us on Facebook, please do that. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, all of the platforms.
Well, fantastic. So thank you guys for joining me. Intown Concord has their Winterfest coming up soon, and you can always go to their website, follow them on social media. Thank you guys for joining me. And again, this has been Community Conversations, hosted by Concord TV, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.